So a little while ago, I put a poll on my community page saying if a reboot, a hard reboot, was the only way to get Stargate back, would you go for it? These are the results, and I've got to ask the question, would a reboot really be all that bad? Welcome to Sidetrack, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. So, the results are in. You have spoken, and you have told me exactly what you want from the Stargate series, and here is the poll. Basically, it says, would you want Stargate to return if it had to be a reboot? If that was the only way to get Stargate back, would you accept it? 17% said, not a chance. 44% said, maybe, but they wouldn't be very happy about it. 36% went, yeah, okay, fine, it's still Stargate. And 3% said, I want to reboot anyway, so why not? I had 380 votes on my poll, so, I think this is actually a reasonably good example of what generally people want. And to me, it seems like most people do not want a hard reboot. But if they had to have one, if that was the only way to get Stargate back on our screens, they might still watch it. Now, I have to say, the comments I get are a little bit the other way. Most of the comments I get are, why the hell would anybody want a hard reboot? Hard reboots never work. They're always rubbish. Now, I would say the Battlestar Galactica reboot was a bit of a triumph. I thought that was stunning. But generally speaking, when people have tried to do hard reboots in the past, they do generally end up being a bit pants. A soft reboot, though, which is kind of what I think we want, a continuation of the story, but with totally new characters, where the universe of SG-1, Atlantis, and bloody SGU still exists. All new characters, all new storylines. A lot of people still say that won't work, but to be honest, everyone said that about Star Trek The Next Generation when it came out, and look how amazing that was. There have been lots of times when actual soft reboots have worked. They're just a continuation of the story, and to be honest, they're great. But if all we could get was a hard reboot, would that really be that bad? Because I did get a couple of interesting comments, basically saying, actually, you know what? I quite like a hard reboot. And here's why. Now, before you turn off, I have thought this through, and I will tell you a little spoiler. I don't want a hard reboot. For one, there is a genuine point that Stargate and the Stargate SGC got a bit technologically advanced towards the end of the series. We've got access to the Atlantis. We've got access to all of that technology. Last time we saw it, it was sat openly in the middle of San Francisco Bay, which I never got. We can assume that, the secret's out. And Brad Wright has talked about that he would want the secret to be out in the new series. So everyone would know about the Stargate program and the aliens exist, so on and so on. The big thing that separated Stargate from other sci-fi TV shows was that it was kind of based in something that could be reality. This could actually be happening today. And a big part of that was the technology wasn't that advanced. Also, it was just plucky humans going out there with, machine guns and not much else, really outgunned, outclassed, and really having to, put ourselves on the line just to survive, never mind win. That we were going up against things that we didn't understand and we technologically were nowhere near. By the end of the series, we had Asgard weapons, Asgard shields, Asgard trans thing, light speed engines and all this sort of thing. We had all of this technology. We were starting to build vessels that could go toe-to-toe with anything else that we came across. It was becoming Star Trek. Now, we've got Star Trek. Some would argue we've got not very good Star Trek. I don't really want Stargate to become that. I liked the idea that it wasn't that advanced, that we were like children wandering around. If we get a hard reboot, we can go back to that. If we have a soft reboot, we can't. The world is as we left it at the end of Atlantis, and we have starships and we have all these things. And in fact, we're going to be 15 years further on. And you consider where we went from at the beginning of SG-1 to where we ended up at the end of SG-1 in a 10-year period. How much further are we going to have travelled over the next 50? The Tauri had basically become one of the dominant forces in the galaxy, and I don't think that's a TV show I particularly want to see. The other thing is, it's a completely clean slate. None of the things that happened in SG-1 or Atlantis happened, so we can visit them again in different ways. We can see the Goa world and maybe go a different direction with them. We could see a storyline that we didn't see before. We could see references maybe to the original series sometimes, but a new show, a new way of looking at it. And sometimes that can be brilliant. Take something that's inspired by something great and make something new with it. Now, there will be people that will say, no, that's not what I want. But let's be honest, it's a new show, inspired by a great show. So why not? We could see something different. Now, if we have a soft reboot, like they've done with Star Trek Discovery, for example, let's use that as an example, where they change lots of things. You know what TV producers like? They love making changes. They think they have to update everything, and sometimes updating things just makes it worse. But like they'll reimagine the Gold World, they'll reimagine the replicators, they'll reimagine the Ori or something else, and generally speaking, they make it bad. They make it less good. Look what Star Trek have done to the Klingons. They made them a bunch of nutters, basically. They look weird. They talk weird. They changed a lot of things about their honor and what's core about Klingons. They just changed everything. Now, there's a lot of arguments about Stargate will be made woke and that Star Trek has been made woke, considering transgenders and everything. Everybody has to be, we have to have every sort of person and every sort of color, all this sort of thing. Now, if they do that to Stargate, I'll be annoyed. I don't think these things need to be forced on. I do think the best sort of sci-fi is woke, but generally speaking, I don't want to see that forced on. I'm not really worried about that so much, though. I'm just worried about new people coming in with new ideas and changing things for the sake of it because they think their ideas were better than the original. Generally speaking, as fans, we're not going to appreciate that, and let's hope they don't do that. To be honest, though, a soft reboot could be a completely new story, and we can leave the original alone. The other thing is, even if they do a hard reboot, the original is still there. We're still going to love it. And it won't take anything away to it. It won't add to it either. But it doesn't mean that what we loved from SG-1 is all of a sudden no good anymore. It's still there. We'll still love it. And we'll have a new show with new people, new storylines, new characters, new everything to maybe enjoy as well. And it comes down to this. Regardless of what Amazon and MGM do to Stargate, if they do it well, whether it's a hard reboot or not a hard reboot, if they do it properly, I'm going to love it. And I will be the first one to say, you know what? You got it bang on. But if they don't, they're going to have an army of people wanting their heads. Because this show is loved. It is the sleeping giant of sci-fi. We desperately want Stargate back in our lives. We desperately want new stories. And if they get this wrong, they will be hell to pay. So let's just hope they don't. And then it comes down to as simple as this. If I'm going to get Stargate back, but only as a hard reboot, and that's the only way I'm getting it, I'm just going to cross my fingers and hope they do it properly. So, thanks very much. What do you think? If a hard reboot is the only way we're going to get this, do you agree with a third of people that basically say, yeah, okay, I won't be happy, but let's do it? Or are you with the, nearly half, basically, of people who went, not a chance, I do not want this? Or are you with the 17% of people who are just like, not a chance, don't do it, and if you do it, I ain't watching it? Please leave a comment, tell me what you think, and look forward to my next video. It's going to be a bit of a recap on what's going on in Stargate at the moment, so please like and subscribe, hit that bell notification. You can see that. Also, you can join my channel. That really helps me out to create new content. I don't just have to rely on YouTube and advertising the 1 penny they give me for every video I make. And also, there is a Bring Back Stargate petition. I'll have a link in the description. I'd love you guys to go and sign that, and I will share that with Amazon if I get enough votes. So, please, stay safe, guys, and I will see you next time.